Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Hollow and today we are going to play through Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Master System. Despite having the same name as its Genesis counterpart, this version of the game isn't a port. A few key differences are the 8-bit graphics and audio, new levels, and the differences in Chaos Emerald collecting. Some final things to note before we start the game. I'm once again using the Fusion emulator to play it. This emulator can play Genesis, Master System, Game Gear, 32X, and Sega CD games, and it'll be used for all titles on these consoles. So this will be a 100% run where we collect all 6 Chaos Emeralds too. Again, there's no 7th Chaos Emerald until we get into Sonic the Hedgehog 2. With that said, let's get started. So we start out in Green Hill Zone. Very similar to everything else that happens. You have your traditional Green Hill clone at the very beginning of the game. Although in this case, it just is Green Hill. The physics are a bit wonky, and so is Sonic's sprite. He has these peach shoes and yellow skin. I don't know, I guess it was just because of the 8-bit graphics, but they did end up fixing it for the later 8-bit games. He looks a bit less, muted in color. But when I was talking about how there's a difference in, ooh, I'm fucking terrible already. When I was talking about how there was a difference in the quality, or the, method of Chaos Emerald collecting, I was specifically talking about how there is no special stages to collect in this game, so the amount of rings you get doesn't matter as long as you don't die. The main thing with this version of the game is that you are able to collect them in every Act 2 of each zone. So, in each zone, for the second act, you will end up finding the Chaos Emerald lying about somewhere within that level. So we're gonna get our first Chaos Emerald here pretty soon. Also gotta love how there's water in the very first level of the game, even if it's very little. Or, very first world of the game, I should say, my bad. Some of the methods of collecting the Chaos Emeralds are somewhat creative when it comes to, this version of the game, when you have to actually, like, collect it mid-level. Like, so here's our first Chaos Emerald. By the way, they're all blue. Kind of similar to how Sonic Spinball does it. But there can be some pretty cheap methods, like, for example, Labyrinth Zone, which, of course, they had to choose that to be one of the 3 zones that they bring over from the original Genesis version. Yeah, they chose the wrong stages to bring over. If you guys watched the Genesis Sonic 1 video, which you totally should, they brought over Green Hill, Labyrinth Zone, and Scrap Brain Zone. So yeah, heading on to Act 3, the stages in this version of the game do not end up having much to do in them. Along with the rest of the 8-bit stages, what will happen is that Acts 1 and 2 are actual stages, and similar to Sonic CD, then you have a very short level, if you can even call it a level, at the beginning of the third act, and then that just correlates into going directly into the boss. The special, or not the special stages, the boss stages, every Act 3, usually they all bumped it down to Act 2 in the Genesis version, simply because the levels were big enough as is. But considering that this is a Game Gear and Master System title and is much shorter than Sonic 1 on the Genesis, I think that's actually fairly okay. I don't really see a problem with it, and especially considering that they aren't actually much of a level, so much as they are just a little area before the boss. It's not that bad. Anyways, moving on to Bridge Zone. I completely forgot to talk about the boss of that zone. He is very pathetic. So, anyways, moving on to Bridge Zone. There's an enemy from Springyard Zone in Sonic 1 Genesis. Fun. It's a very simple zone. There's not a whole lot going on with it. It's basically just Green Hill Zone Part 2 for this game. One thing I do kind of like a bit more about this version of the game, it's mainly only stated in the guidebook for the original Sonic 1. But this, the entire game is about how you are going and stopping Eggman's pollution of South Island, partially, and then the other part is obviously rescuing your animal friends. And in this version of the game, as you progress throughout the zones, it actually shows, like, the improvement and further pollution of the environment by technology. So, at the start we have Green Hill Zone, where it's only really just it's just nature. But as we move on to later areas, like Bridge Zone, we have simple bridges, not really doing anything bad, just existing. Oh, crap, there is our Chaos Emerald. I might be wondering, how do we get to that? Well, it's very simple. We have to step onto this falling bridge piece and jump, and before it falls into the infinite void below, we have to hop off of it and grab our thing. So I guess what I said earlier was wrong. Act 2 isn't the only zone, or isn't the only act that we can get in each level. We can get it in any one. That was my bad. But yeah, in replacement of special stages to get Chaos Emeralds every 50 rings, we instead have these little bonus stages. That's all really just about collecting lives and a bunch of rings. So, you'll notice it's impossible to kind of go and figure out where you're going, because I can never get around in these things. But if anybody, going back to my talks of ROM hacks, if anybody ever played the Sonic ROM hack, I forget its name, but it's basically where everything's on fire. Sonic 1 Burnt Edition, maybe? I don't remember. The special stages in those are based off of these special stages, and this is the only game that these types of special stages appear in. Wait, no, they aren't special stages. Bonus stages. Similar ones do appear later on down the line in these 8-bit games. However, they aren't in that specific style, I'm pretty sure. I may be remembering wrong, so take my word with a grain of salt. Anyways, moving on to Act 2, we have the pinnacle of level design in Sonic the Hedgehog, giving the fast character an auto-scroller. I do not know what they were cooking with this one. They really fumbled the bag here. There isn't a whole lot I can obviously say about this level, considering it's just waiting for the screen to pan forward, god damn it, so that I can continue on with the stage. One thing you'll notice there whenever I got hit is that in this version of the game, rather than you dropping all of your rings and them scattering everywhere and you having no chance to pick them back up, you instead drop all your rings in one giant ring that you cannot pick up again, so you have no chance of recovery in the event that you accidentally get yourself hit. You have to find ring stat, or you are just bone dry when it comes to getting any rings. Anyways, continuing on through this stage, let's hope it gets to an end soon, so I can go and actually do something a bit more fun so far. God damn it. Yeah, you'll notice I walked directly under it, didn't get anything. Good thing that there's a ring box right after it. It's odd how they scaled things, because you'll notice that this chopper is very, very small compared to Sonic. When it was about the size of his, like the size of him in the original. These little weight things that launch you. Kind of sucks because you would figure that after one jump it would be enough to make you cross any gap, but you always have to jump on it twice, and people that don't know that will basically just fall to their death because they'll try to go for it, and then they'll go too far, and they have no chance of getting back. Anyways, I think we're at the end of the stage here. Yeah. Alright. I'm trying to kind of keep my ring count under 50 so I don't have to go to the bonus stage, because that's just kind of wasting time. This game is significantly shorter than in the Genesis version. I believe that I took about 2 hours to complete the Genesis version. And I'm pretty sure that this version of the game can be beaten in 45 minutes to an hour, so it's about half the runtime. Even less if you are just gunning for it. Anyways, here we are at the boss. Little pesky thing. You have to be very careful whenever jumping on him, because you get no rings, and if you hit those balls, it's an insta-kill. So, this boss is very similar to the one in Hilltop Zone, Sonic 2. But as long as you aim well, he should be no problem to you. And there he goes. So we're about a third of the way done with the game now, so that's fun. Anyways, here we are in Jungle Zone. Kind of a regress from what I was talking about earlier with the industrialization of zones as you progress further into the game. But I don't really mind. This is actually a very nice little zone. I like the theming of it. The little vine platforms are pretty neat. You have these waterfall sections, and then the Mario Bros. 2 falling logs that you need to traverse. Platforming can be a bit sucky here because the water down there is basically an insta-kill, because it's just more or less a bottomless pit. And unless you have an item that you get later on in Act 2, you are basically boned if you fall down there. There's no way of saving yourself if you misplace a jump. So, yeah, these early games were very unforgiving when it came to this stuff. Anyways, I believe... Yes, here we are. Here's where the third Chaos Emerald is. So how we get it. Careful. You see this log down here. You have to jump on that. You run all the way over here. Here's our third Chaos Emerald. Now what we can do is we can run back on this, and we can run past this platform and go underneath it. Just keep on running on this. This will basically let us skip a decent chunk of the level. My mistake earlier when I said that we'd find this in Act 1, or in Act 2. We find this in Act 1. I believe we can go further with it, but I don't want to risk it. We're just going to get the checkpoint box here and continue on. Yeah, these little swing things are a bit annoying if you don't know what you're doing with them. Little ramp area. Fun. Here's the log again. Just gotta be careful with it, you know. The problem with the with the low aspect ratio is it's really hard to see what's in front of you. That's also why I'm trying to play these on the Master System versions instead of the Game Gear versions that came out beforehand, is because they have a much larger screen than on the Game Gear. You cannot see for shit in the handheld version. Anyways, here's another bonus stage. I'll just get through this really quickly, and you guys get to skip this. These really aren't all that special. Anyways, Jungle Act 2. This will hopefully go a bit faster. This is a very unique level for a Sonic game. It's a vertical level, so this entire time we are just traveling upwards trying to get to the end of this level. A little bit of a dickish thing going on here. The floor slowly scrolls up like it's in Mega Man. Ouch. If you ever fall down back to where you were, you don't get to go back down onto the platform you were on. That's a kill plane now. So, if this platform were to go even slightly out of view, and I were to jump on it, that's curtains, because it's now considered a kill plane. That was uncomfortably close. Anyways, here we are. Checkpoint. Here we are. Yeah, these logs are now falling platforms, so that's not fun. Anyways, is. I think we're getting close to the top of this area. I might be wrong. Little tricky thing they're trying to do with you. That spring obviously is there to accidentally get you into a death spot. So you want to avoid that if you're going for that life. Ooh, that was a funky jump. Here we are. Go all the way to the left. Here. I believe this is just a safe area for the rest of the level. Yeah, here we are. Alright, nice. There's Act 2. Now we can move on to the boss. Oh, you can see Sonic on the right side. Alright, this boss is very annoying. He drops these little balls on either end of the stage, they roll around the entire bottom floor, and then they disappear in the middle. Their hitboxes are basically a square, and they linger until the smoke disappears, so if you jump into where they are while the smoke's still there, you'll get killed by thin air. Additionally, the jumping in this game sucks in that you go out of your ball if you land an attack. So it's highly recommended that you don't try to get on top of Eggman, because if you do, he'll end up being bounced on once, and then you go out of your ball form, and then you die. Anyways, we finally got through that, so I hope you guys don't have any trouble with that one. That boss is very annoying all of a sudden, compared to what we've faced so far. Moving on to the second half of the overworld map, we have Labyrinth Zone. So yeah, this boss is... Not this boss, this level is kinda sucks. Even more than it does in the Genesis version. Music does go hard, but yeah, these things hit you and you get absolutely no chance to get out of their way. Be very careful around the spikes to make up for the fact that you were able to get yourself killed by hitting yourself on the spikes multiple times in a row in Sonic 1 Genesis. They made up for it by the fact that if you end up running into or falling into a spike, you get invincibility frames, you get stuck in the spike, and the invincibility frames last too short. They're too short for you to actually be able to get out of the spikes. So they shouldn't even be there. You die anyways. Just wait on this bubble. Unlike in the Genesis version where we have the terrifying music to accompany you almost drowning, we instead have to deal with beeping. Lots of beeping. Here's the guy from Labyrinth Zone, the Orbinaut. He is about as simple in this version. The only difference is that you have to get out of his way whenever he's doing all of the balls, because you can't crouch under them most of the time. Furthermore, you can probably jump over those ones, actually, because they're all grouped together rather than being spaced apart. Yeah, these levels aren't super awful if you know what you're doing. Similar to how the Genesis ones are. That said, you run out of air so quickly in this version. It is not funny. Here we are. Yeah, I believe we're getting somewhat close to the end of this level. I don't think the Chaos Emerald was in this one. The Chaos Emerald for Labyrinth Zone sucks because in order to get it, what you have to do... Oh, we're finally out of water. We actually get our momentum back. What you have to do is you have to abuse invincibility frames to... Oh, that's my bad. That's my fault. You have to abuse invincibility frames in order to stick yourself into a pit of spikes. And the Chaos Emerald is in that pit. And there's no other way to get it. That said, moving on to Act 2. So here we start it. Make sure to watch out for that pit of spikes that can kill you very easily. Here we start down here. We have to go all the way to the left. I think it's a specific route. I may be wrong. I'm pretty sure you need to go a specific route if you want one to get the Chaos Emerald in this version, or in this level. I'm going to head up here and just grab a ring box in case you weren't able to grab the ones up there like I couldn't. You have the burrow bots from the original game there too. You basically want to just keep going right after falling down this pit. Watch out for the spike ball. Watch out for the harpoons. Grab water if you need it. Not water, air. You know what I mean. Checkpoint. Yeah, here's the invincibility I was talking about. Careful around the spike ball. But of course, you can't ever tell where it is because the game lags so much from trying to render the water that you will never be able to get near it. So you have to be relatively quick with this, otherwise you will just completely miss out. Jump, 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 move, move, move. There it is. And we got it. Nice. That is one of, if not the worst design for a special, or a Chaos Emerald location I have ever seen. But we have it now, so I don't need to worry anymore. 4 out of 6. Here we are at the boss. Don't try to hit him whenever he's in that pit. You'll either get stuck trying to shoot him whenever he's too low for you to get back up, or he'll end up hitting you with one of the balls, and then there's just no way that you're getting down. Those little missiles aren't that big of a problem, as long as you are on the same side that he is whenever he shoots them, and you're behind them, they can't do anything to you. You'll just repeat this pattern over and over again until you kill him. Watch out for when you're jumping that you don't accidentally run into the missile. That usually doesn't end well. Yes, boss. As long as you know not to try to go for the middle one, it's not that hard. And we get to see Eggman drown. Fun. Time for the end of the level, if we can actually get over there. And there we go. Next up is... we'll see in a second. Act 3. Scrap Brain, everybody's least favorite zone. In all honesty, Scrap Brain zone isn't that bad. Much faster than Labyrinth, that's for sure. Problem is that they took probably the two worst aspects. Well, worst, obviously. You know my feelings on these levels whenever you watch the Sonic 1 video. They took the two weakest points, I'd say, of the original game and plopped them right next to each other in this version. So it's not super fun to deal with, but it's a little more manageable, I'd say. Act 1, you just want to stay on the high route for as long as possible. And you also want to watch out for that dickery. Not fun. Just watch out for flames and lightning, just like in the original. Some advice that I failed to follow. Here we are at the end. Moving on to Act 2, just like in the Genesis version, I believe this one takes place exclusively inside. I am completely wrong. I believe this lead-up area is going just into the inside area. Yeah. The rest of the level takes place inside. It's just that the outside is actually a transition area, almost. You need to take a specific route later on if you want to get the Chaos Emerald in this level. And that route generally involves not getting hit by fire balls that are just kind of there. Anyways, you want to go on this upper route, not get hit by the flames. Drop down here. You want to take the high route whenever you get to this fork. Go on here. You go up to an even steeper ramp. You don't want to jump here. Or here, I believe. I believe it's this one. Yes! You drop down here. Go all the way to the right. You enter this teleporter. Go up here. Chaos Emerald's on your right. That's the last one that involves some, like, complicated stuff when it comes to getting it. Jump up here. Go through. Enter here. Oh, my bad. You want to, you want to have this button pressed, and then you want to go back. So my mistake, whenever I said that you wanted the button to be pushed down so that this door was open, you end up dropping down from there later, and you cannot press this button whenever that door is open without closing this door, and then that door is open. You want to leave this door. You want to leave this door closed by having this button be pressed so that it's this door closed. So, with that cleared up, because I made a blunder, watch out for the ball hogs. Go down. Watch out. That drop is safe, because that's where you got the Chaos Emerald. However, the rest are not. They are bottomless pits. They will kill you. Whenever you get to the end of this hallway, turn around, go down the lower path that you neglected earlier. You'll arrive in this area with a massive pit to the side. If you want to be a cool guy, you can jump down the flights. However, you will mess it up. Only jump down twice and then walk the rest way. If you don't, you have to take the right one in order to get back up. If you take the left path at the very bottom, it will not end favorably. Now, don't be like me. Walk down, walk over, hallway, jump over, go through the door, go through the teleporter. Once you do that, you walk down this path, and hey, you're back at that area, and now you're on the other side of the door. Be careful walking through here. Too high and too low can kill you. Go up this platform here. Watch out for the spring. Go further up. Watch out for the fire. Just keep on being careful, and here we are at the end of the level. Yeah, this game is significantly shorter, and therefore this video should be considerably shorter. Here we are at Act 3. Simple little jump. You actually get rings for this one. Crazy. This opening area is basically a maze. You want to be careful whenever you're getting through it. Go twice bottom. Careful there. Jump up the spring. Left. Go up the spring again. Left. Go up the spring again. Right. Go right. Up the spring. Right. Up the spring. And... no, I believe it's left. Jump with the pit. Press the switch. Press it again. Doors open. Go up the spring. Here we are at the boss. Run away from him. He flies away, and so we take chase. My bad when I said that this was a boss. This is just a transition zone, or a transition level to Act... we're not Act 2, we're Act 3. To the last zone of the game, where we'll get our final Chaos Emerald. I can't remember if this has 1 or 2 acts, or 3. Here we are at Skybase, not to be confused with Sky Chase. This level isn't too bad. It's a bit challenging for those who aren't really familiar with it. You have these little turret guys everywhere, and then you have these little crystal dudes who will connect to each other and form these little lightning patterns that'll zap you. So you just want to watch out for those. Sticking to the high route is very good because it is very easy to fool yourself to thinking that there's a low route, and then suddenly you are falling from the sky and continuously getting hit. Oh my god, I just lost like 50 rings there. That sucked. Wait for this little Orbinaut dude to shoot his balls. If he even does. No, this is one of the standstill guys, but he's red in this version. Oh, he follows you. That's fun. Alright, get out of the way. There we go. Ooh, watch out for that. That's a bit of a tricky guy. Here's a floating platform. We'll make use out of these more in Act 2, but you just want to time your jumps and be a bit careful with them. Whenever they do that, you can just jump and the platform stops moving, so that's pretty useful. I believe we're getting close to the end of the level. Yes, here we are. This little airship that we just landed on is the final level of the game. But here we are. We're at the home stretch now. As you can see, we are now in the airship. Now, you might be inclined to go directly to the right at first, but if you go down here, you'll notice that there's one of those little platforms down here waiting for you. You want to take this to the right, and this will skip the entirety of the level, more or less, and just bring you to the Chaos Emerald immediately, and then you just get to go to the final fight. I guess they kind of felt bad for you after dealing with the bullshit that was the past, like, 3 or so Chaos Emeralds. So they just wanted to give you basically a clean run to the end of the game. Alright, whenever you make it through all these floating pathways to the side, you'll eventually wind up near this up and down one. I don't know if that corkscrew is available to jump on, so just watch out just to be safe. These cans will fire at you, so you want to watch out. Be careful when you're passing them. And eventually you'll make it inside. And here we are, now on the inside. We are getting ready for the final battle, so hooray. Also, we got the ring icon, which means I believe we either get an extra life or just get, it adds 10 rings to us at the very end. I don't know if that's just to see if we get an extra life at the very, very end of the level or what, but that can occasionally happen. I believe you can also get a Sonic sign that'll give you an extra life right off the bat. I don't know how they're activated at all, though. This little laser will go back and forth. As it's going towards the left side of the screen, it'll be on. As it's going towards the right, it'll be off. When it's going to the right, that's your chance to try to smack him. At least at the start of the fight. Also, you'll have that little ball going above him. The ball is deceptively small compared to the hitbox, so you just want to be a bit more precautious whenever you're jumping over it. I don't know how close we are for the laser to change patterns, but we should be getting there. Yeah, here we are. Now you'll notice as it was going to the left, the laser stopped moving. And now that we've passed it, it'll turn on and off at set times. So you have to watch out for that. Dodge the ball. And we beat him. Now you run this way. And he seems to have escaped. Oh no. And now we follow him into the teleporter. And he seems to have gone. However, we land right on top of him. And he is dead. Hooray! And now that we have all 6 Chaos Emeralds, we raise them into the sky. Also look at that adorable Sonic sprite. Actually, it's not adorable, it's disgusting. What did they do to my boy? The 6 Chaos Emeralds float above South Island and delete all of the pollution that Dr. Eggman was making. So, there we go. Each Chaos Emerald gives you 20,000 points. And I believe each life gives you 10,000 or 50,000 points. I forget. 5,000. I was completely off the mark. So that's kind of rough. Final score is 301,700. Never mind, it's 451,700. The special bonus, I believe, is just from all the bonus stages you collect and how many rings you get in them. It's whatever amounts in that. Anyways, that's our final score, and this is the end of the game. And here's your credits. I think Sonic's singing in 8-bit. I did not know that he could do this. But, yeah, here's the end of the game. I hope you all had a good time watching it, and I hope to see you in the next one. For the next game we'll be covering, we are going to be looking at Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Master System, as opposed to the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Genesis game. But with that being said, my name is Hollow, and I hope you guys have a great day.